Hello, I'm Mir, sophomore in Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering branch here at NIT Rourkela. Today we have our alumnus from 2002 batch who is in CS, and Mr. Pranesh Vittal. He is now serving as a Director of Engineering at ClearTax India, and he had worked with many tech and med giants like Yahoo and Medlife.com. So yeah, today we just have an interactive session with our alumnus, so hope you guys will enjoy.
I'm Shahid Thakur, a second year student from Computer Science Department. Mr. Shubhi
Sure.
So first we have some questions related to your life at college and your childhood days. How would you describe your childhood days? What were some of your fondest memories for you?
Childhood days, I have to go really back in time. So I am native of this place called Hospital, which is in the northern part of Karnataka. So as a kid, we belong to the 1980s generation. That was the time that I was born. So life was pretty simple in a small town, and so we certainly lacked that exposure. And after joining NIT Rourkela, so back then it was known as Regional Engineering College. Okay, so I came here during 1998, and this was a pretty big change for me to be a part of such a large institution. Coming from a small town, I had my own set of challenges. If you ask me what were the favorite memories that I had from my childhood, it's all about being carefree. It's all about having those fun days, not having to worry about anything. So that was indeed something very, very special, and I cherish, and I try to give the same thing to my children.
So what inspired you to choose computer science at NIT Rourkela at a time when the technology is emerging, and computer science is not such a field which is very known to the group of engineers?
Not really. I slightly would like to differ because given that the plus two, I did my combination as PCMC, okay, physics, chemistry, math, and computer science. So back in those days, I was exposed to the computer science, and given that I got a pretty good ranking as a part of the entrance examination, so it happened to be a natural choice because in NIT Rourkela, so back then it used to be known as KREC, Karnataka Regional Engineering College. I was getting metallurgy civil, and in Rourkela, given that I had the option of doing the computer science engineering, so it was a pretty easy choice for me.
So your college life, what essential life skills or values did you acquire during your days at NITR that continue to influence your professional and personal life till today?
The good thing that I learned here was meeting people, doing some of those hard negotiations, and given that I was exposed to a lot of students from all over India, it gave me a good perspective about how to interact with people. So I was actually the cultural secretary of my batch. Okay, I'm not sure if that position exists even today or not. So, but back then, cultural secretary was responsible for all of these events. I happened to be the non-ODIA cultural side of our batch, and there's a lot of things that I learned in the form of soft skills, in the form of communication, which has helped me a lot during my professional career. Because given that this gave me a lot of exposure to interact with people, organize events, so I became a natural, leader when it came to my job, and it definitely helped me a lot.
After visiting the campus today, is there anything that you saw that was same as your time in the campus, like your favorite hangouts?
Actually, there's been a lot of changes, except for this particular section, administrative blocks. So this has slightly changed, I would say, but rest everything is like I just couldn't recognize it. Okay, so be the positive, because yesterday when I reached here, by the way, I came by road. I drove all the way from Bangalore to here. I've clocked some 3,000 kilometers so far, and another 2,500 kilometers to go back to Bangalore. And when I drove in the campus area last night, I just couldn't recognize anyone. And I've been taking videos and photos and sharing those with my classmates, and nobody seems to recognize anything. So, except for this one stretch from CS all the way to the ceramic engineering, that probably hasn't changed much, and rest everything else has changed. There used to be a joint called Keystone, which is next to the Domino's that we have right now. So, which is Hexagon. Hexagon was called Keystone during our times. And that used to be the favorite adda for all of us. We'll be morning or while coming back from the college in the evening. So we used to spend a lot of time hanging out there. I actually felt sad seeing that it's not there anymore, and moreover that Hexagon is closed.
Just one question as the interactive section.
Sure.
Sir, what was your hostel when you were living?
I was in hall number 1. I don't know what the first hostel. I can't remember the names of it. I can't. So hall number 1, room number 25. Okay. Hall number 3, room number 68. That was during the second year. Third and final year, pre-final and final year, that was in hall 5. So the one just before the race hostel. I think it's MS Swaminathan. MS Swaminathan. Yeah. So that's the. I clearly don't remember the exact room numbers, but the third year was in B wing and the second final year was in A wing.
So diving deep into your professional life, I just want to ask that what were the key challenges you faced as Director of Engineering at ClearTax India, and how did you overcome them?
Every day was a different challenge because it was I wouldn't say it as a startup, it was in the scale up mode. So wherein every day was a new challenge, be it new revenue opportunities, be it new initiatives, be it new features that we are building. And at the same time, we had to keep the optimization, the cost optimization, databases, pretty much everything that runs on the cloud. It could be on AWS, it could be on GCP, it could be on Microsoft Azure. So pretty much everything was running under me. Every day was a new challenge. So it was all about juggling the priorities, keeping the team motivated, seeing that okay, we don't lose out on the end state goal. And one thing that I would like to clearly call out, as one progresses in their career, the challenges are more to do with people and not the technology. So overall, it's all about building the right teams, keep them motivated to see how is it that we can reach the next stage.
You began your career as a software test engineer at Caterpillar and have since advanced to the position of Director of Engineering. Looking back, what key decisions or turning points shaped your professional career?
The movement from the so earlier I was a part of the testing team. Okay, so that was because of the lack of opportunities which were there during that time. So I didn't get the right opportunities during those days. So it was all about clinging on to whatever that would come along. Okay, so I managed to do it at first, and whenever I would say that the movement from the testing engineer towards the DevOps practices or the infrastructure side, that turned out to be a turning point in my career, and so that actually helped me a lot. Okay, because overall the kind of challenges that one would have to take up were very different compared to what was there. So the initial part of the career was just about survival. It was about how is it that I might. It was all about, if I get one good opportunity, I'll make most of it. So yes, something came along, and I was there at the right time at the right time. And once I made that switch, it was a good thing.
Oh, so you just said that you was the cultural secretary during your time.
Right.
So what else NITR helps you? Like NITR campus helps you in your success in the tech, fintech, or the health sector which you are working?
To tell you frankly, the first 4 years of the engineering, more than the technical skills, it was more to do with the all around skills that I acquired. Okay, and it's a continuous learning process. Okay, I would be jumping the line saying that okay, a lot of things that I did it as a part of my job, I did not do it. A lot of these were on the job. Okay, so very specific around the domain. So at the end of the day, technology is there to help any given domain. Okay, it's more of it acts like a catalyst. So wherein we want to do better things using technology. Okay, and I just was there in terms of helping these technologies achieve helping these businesses using technology to achieve their goals.
You have worked across startups and also big tech firms.
Right.
You are also now starting a startup. But if this don't feel like the engineering culture in the team.
Startup is all about hustle mode. Okay, you just want to get the MVP out, bare minimum viable product as to whatever it is called. Okay. And you just want to ensure that you don't get into gold plating. So wherein if something works, let it work. We will look into the scale part or whatever that is required as things go. So it's always about what is here at this moment. So in a startup world, you're living the moment. So you're when it comes to well-established enterprises, like I was part of Yahoo. So there are a lot of things were like pretty much set, streamlined. So there are platforms where you just have to be a consumer in order to use those platforms. Okay. So whereas in a startup, you end up preparing or rather building a lot of things by yourself. So experience-wise, I would say last 10 years I've been part of the startup ecosystem. The kind of learning that I've had is almost 10x more than what I had in my college. Sorry, what in my earlier past.
So as you know that this era is like AI booming. So when disruptive technologies like AI or automation reshaping the industries, so what's the role of engineering leaders like you to defend jobs, to embrace change, or to redefine the workforce entirely?
Alright. So we encountered this challenge when I was with ClearTax because a lot of new tools were coming in the form of cursor, in the form of Copilot. Okay. So it was all about embracing those change because the teams were still not used to work using the new technology. Okay. They were still doing or rather using the old way of doing. So we had to kind of encourage them. We had to kind of incentivize them to make use of Copilot. We started tracking metrics. Okay, how many of the lines have been written by you? How many of the lines is written by you? How many of it you could set the multiple straight away? So there were a lot of incentivization that we had to do in order to see to it that the team members, so the people who are actually on the ground doing the coding, so they use these technologies. So it was all about bringing in adapters. Like for example, we were using Copilot. Okay, so we managed to get folks from Microsoft who would give a tech talk on how to use Copilot. Okay, at the same time, we were able to get somebody from the AWS. So wherein they also gave a tech talk. So it was all about educating them to see how is it that we can make use of the latest tools to be more productive. Because we had to also had to at the end of the day, humans are very, very expensive compared to machines. Okay. These licenses, they would cost hardly $20 per month. Okay. So if they are given to these developers, they were more productive. So overall, it was quite a challenge because developers were still not willing to try something new. We had to incentivize them, we had to push them hard where required to start using them. There has been a lot of changes in terms of how the teams develop these days.
So you've been working in Bangalore for quite a long time.
Right.
So how has the software domain evolved over the year in this region?
It's a tough question. Anyway, So Bangalore as such has been the center of hub for at least from the software engineering, right from late 90s I would say, or maybe even early 90s. Okay. And so it was all because of a lot of software companies like Infosys, they set up their offices in Bangalore. And it happened to be the natural talent pool for a lot of these companies. It was a good hunting ground for all of them. And so given that there's like no shortage of talent in Bangalore, a lot of companies started evolving. So I've seen the landscape grow from wherein there were earlier only few companies, and then there was a boom wherein there were a lot of startups that came in during the early 2000 time frame. So they were mostly in this episode. And then in subsequent time frame, a lot of product companies also came in. So these days, a lot of companies are coming up with the GCC code. So wherein they set up data in India. So overall, the landscape as such has changed a lot. A lot of people prefer Bangalore for various reasons. The only sad thing about Bangalore is the infrastructure. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it. It's pretty painful to commute, except that commute part. The rest everything else, there's abundance of talent, and you see a lot of companies who are still operating out of Bangalore, and they will continue to do so. So this is only going to get better.
So as you're working in a startup, so what's that one misconception students have or the candidates have about working in top companies versus startups that you would like to correct?
One of the big misconception that I feel a lot of people would have is startup is all about money. Startup is all about making a lot of money in the form of stock options. Okay. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way because not many startups are able to succeed. Okay. A lot of companies, a lot of startups, they die because of various reasons. So it could be that their product didn't work, they got acquired, or a larger competitor was able to eat their entire business, and they ran out of money. So there are various challenges that are there in the startup. It's not a unheeded kind of a thing. So that's one thing that people kind of don't know about it. So there's not a hustle. There's not a hustle in a startup. Whereas in a well-established companies, life is somewhat settled because there what happens is a lot of these things are planned well in advance, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So that's the kind of roadmap that they would be having. So the work is more or less streamlined. So you know what you are supposed to do well in advance. So you can plan. But whereas in a startup, I wouldn't even know what I'm supposed to do.
Means you are saying the compatibility in top companies and startups.
Yeah, definitely, that's good. So predictiveness is there in the larger companies compared to startups. Startups always runs in a hustle mode.
Could you walk us through a typical day in your life in an NITR? What your schedule is?
During my days at NITR, I could do that speech. So yeah, typically it wouldn't have been any different. It's all about you just wake up every morning, get ready, come to the college, you learn, you chit chat, you have all kinds of fun interacting with your friends, and then as the day progresses, you are part of the teaching process. And then at the end of the day, you just get back to the hospital. And we used to roam around a lot because it was good to see a lot of people riding bicycles. So we also had that similar culture back then. So we used to go all the way to sector to park our cycles in the Max Muller, right at the sector 2. It's a German, Indo-German. Okay, yeah, Indo-German. So we used to park our bicycles there, and we would hop onto any of the buses that would go to the old city, the Rourkela railway station. We would just roam around the city. At times we would even go to the city lines and then at times Hanuman Vatika. So yeah, a lot of places that we used to, hang out.
So, sir, just one more question. That what do you think the alumni can play a bigger role in shaping the future of the institution? Here.
Uh, Giving a good picture about what happens after college. Okay, that in my view would help the students a lot. Okay, because as a part of the academics, the teachers, the lecturers, the professors, they are doing it. What happens after once you go out of college? That's something which only an alumni can. Okay, because given that I have been in the industry for 20 plus years, there's a whole lot of things that I have learned which the college hasn't done. Nor they, I don't want to blame anyone here because unless you are not there in that position, you will not be able to teach some of it. Only an alumni who has spent a good amount of time in the industry will be able to tell how to deal with the corporate world. So, in my view, alumni can be a good value add in terms of teaching some of those things that happen after college to the students.